So pigs are by far my favorite animal, but I have to admit I was very frightened when I saw this picture. Yikes! The Adventures of the South Pole Pig, a novel about snow and courage by Kurtz. I think most kids would enjoy this book because it has animals and it's an adventure and there's a lot of lessons to be learned, but it's also got a pig as the main character. Yay!
Oh my gosh, so cute!
Our story begins with Flora, her mother, and her 7 brothers in their pig pen on a farm that raises sled dogs. Flora calls the pig pen her cage because she doesn't like it there and she just wants to be free. Her brothers eat and sleep and eat some more and sleep some more and do what pigs do. Flora is much more adventurous, much more outgoing, and just wants to be outside of the tight little cramped pen. One day, she meets Luna, the farm cat, and learns all about life outside of the pen. Luna is a cat and is free to roam and run and do whatever she wants to do. And Flora is a little jealous, but she tries to get as much information and as much advice as to surviving the real world from Luna. Luna and Flora quickly become friends, and Luna comes by every day to tell Flora about the stories and the adventures that she's had throughout the day. And soon she tells Flora of the sled dogs that are training on the farm. And Flora is immediately intrigued and wants to go on the amazing adventure with the sled dogs down to the South Pole. Flora wants nothing more at this moment than to be a sled dog. Or sled pig, I guess. Does warn Flora that wherever adventure is, trouble will follow. But Flora is not intimidated. She's actually quite eager for trouble to find her, because that means she could prove herself and solve the big problem that is to come. Flora does get a chance at adventure when she escapes the pen one day and runs into the sled dogs that are training. She runs alongside them, feels the rush of adventure and the wind against her face, and soon finds herself on a ship to Antarctica with her sled mates.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
On the ship called the Explorer, she meets several new friends. She meets Sophia, the sheriff cat, who's in charge of catching rats, Oscar, the lead sled dog, who all the other sled dogs follow, and Alaric, a young cabin boy who's also looking for approval from his shipmates and those around him. The 4 learn a lot about each other and all there is to life on a ship. However, that comes to a speeding halt when the ship sinks. Some of the crew members survive and some don't, and it's really heartbreaking, but Flora is put to the ultimate test to prove herself as that lead sled pig she's always wanted to be. And without spoiling too much of the story,
Too late!
Through all the chaos of this misadventure and the courage that Flora is showing, trying to save all of her shipmates, she finds out something very, very heartbreaking. They weren't intending for her to be a sled dog. They thought of her as something else. Bacon. I think this book is definitely good for kids to read. They can read it on their own or read it in the classroom with the teacher. I think it teaches a lot about courage, a lot about strength, a lot about standing up for yourself, but there's a lot of lessons that are not so prominent. One of those lessons, I think, is that you don't always have to prove to others that you're worth something. You don't always have to prove that you're good at everything, not just who you are. I think that's the best thing any kid, any adult, any human being can be, is the best at being themselves. And I think we lose sight of that from societal pressures, ideas from media that we get, that we're not good enough just by being us. And I think kids struggle with that the most because they're constantly surrounded by negativity, constantly reminded that they must be popular, they must be liked by everyone to survive school. And when you get to the real world, you realize that nobody's perfect, nobody's good at everything, and not everyone is going to like you. So staying true to yourself, knowing what you are, and that being who you are is okay, is one of the more subtle things that I get from this book. Flora only wanted to be anything but a pig. She didn't want to do pig things. She wanted to see the world. She wanted to go on adventures. She wanted to be a part of the sled team, which pigs are not a part of. Sometimes you just need to step back and remember that you're a pig, that you are who you are. However, you can still be true to yourself and follow your dream. You shouldn't let anybody keep you from doing what you want to do. You are perfectly capable, and we all have that passion, that drive that keeps us motivated and keeps us wanting to live life, wanting to have fun, and no one should take that away from you. That being said, once you get to where you want to be, once you are following your dream, you shouldn't let your guard down. You should expect that things aren't going to go exactly the way you want, that things will happen that you will have to overcome. You won't always be happy, and sometimes your dream changes. So, obvious lessons for children to learn from the adventures of the South Pole Pig. 1. Be courageous. 2. Follow your dream. 3. Expect the unexpected. 4. Always stay true to yourself. No matter what happens, no matter where that dream takes you, and no matter who you meet along the way. So, that was an adventure in itself. Let me know what you think of The Adventures of the South Pole Pig by Kurtz. If you loved it, if you hated it, and if you think children can learn valuable life lessons through a pig named Flora who wanted to pull a sled. Thanks for listening.